Hi, I'm Simon Jones here with another first 5 minutes look at a computer game, and today I'm going to take a look at Doom. This is a game I kind of overlooked for a while, assuming it wasn't going to be my kind of thing. I loved the original back in 1993, which feels like a horrendously long time ago now, and then the series kind of went off in a different direction and tried to go down a more cinematic story route and kind of lost its way a little bit, I guess. And what this game represents is an attempt to recapture what the original did while at the same time doing something quite new and exciting. It's kind of old and refreshing at the same time. So as usual, I will start the 5-minute clock as soon as I get to a bit that is actually interactive. So any animated cutscenes at the start that you can't do anything in, they don't count. But the 5-minute clock will begin as soon as I can actually take some kind of player agency action. So we open with this fairly in-your-face, intense fantasy horror sequence, and it really doesn't pull its punches, literally. I mean, we're straight in with torture and death and monsters and explosive blood splatters and what have you. But the surprising thing is that just a few seconds into this animated sequence, suddenly we realise we're actually in control, and the game has in fact begun. And there's no kind of on-screen prompt to tell us this. It doesn't pause to tell you what to do. There's no kind of voiceover instructing you how to move or anything like that. You're just straight in there with a gun and there's enemies coming at you, and you kind of have to use your brain to figure out that it's up to you to do something about it. And it's kind of interesting the confidence this has, because so many games these days still take a long time simply telling you how to move and how to jump, which is a little bit weird given how most of these mechanics are fairly ingrained now, and Doom just kind of gets on with it. It assumes that you know a lot already and it doesn't waste your time. The next thing it does is fully embrace its scenario. So first up we see that the Doom Marine outfit here is entirely based on the front cover of the box from the 1993 version, so they're kind of acknowledging the existence of that original version. And if you go back to Doom 3, which is when the series kind of faltered and went into a kind of hiatus for a while, it's when they tried to move away from that and layer on this kind of science fiction justification for what's happening. What they're doing here is they're saying, no, we're going back. We're going to acknowledge that this is a demonic invasion in progress. The simple existence of that little screen there kind of gives this a cabin in the woods feel. It's a self-aware fantasy horror, which is not really concerned with trying to give context or explanation or to put all of this in some kind of rationale. You know, this is a demonic invasion. The creators of the game are comfortable with that. They're assuming that people playing this game are going to be along for the ride and they're going to just get on with it. The next thing the game does is introduce Samuel Hayden, who starts off sounding like he's going to be the typical guy on the radio that basically instructs you and guides you around the game and tells you what to do. And your character throws the screen away and we're back into the action. So that was kind of the second animated bit, and then we're straight back in. And the game wastes no time introducing one of its core mechanics. So this is the thing where when an enemy's weakened, you can run up to it and stop it in one move, essentially. And what this does is it gives you a reason to keep moving forward. It stops you being afraid and it encourages you to keep progressing. You don't want to go and hide or take cover or be stealthy, which is the kind of gameplay that most games have instilled in us for the last 5 to 10 years. And this kind of encourages the fast, kinetic gameplay that the original Doom was famous for. But what it's also doing is it's putting you into the mindset of the character you're playing, who is this Doom Marine guy. This is the one person who is able to stop this demonic invasion, and that's kind of what he was born for. And he's not afraid, and they don't really want the player to be afraid. Sure, there's scary things going on, there's going to be tension and excitement, and it's not going to be a pleasant ride exactly. But although it has all the appearance of a horror title, the real thing is that these monsters really should be scared of you. And so what we have here is a combination of giving you some cool weapons and the glory kill system that encourages you to rush in. It forces you to confront the action in a very head-on way. And that's what this game wants you to do, that's how it wants you to play. And combine that with the very fast moving and agile enemies, and the game basically is making the point that you have to keep on the move. This is not a game where you stay in one place and take headshots from behind a conveniently waist-high wall. And this is all stuff that it's having to teach the player, because it's not how we play first-person games anymore. You're having to kind of unlearn 10 years of understanding on how you play this sort of game. And what's interesting is that it does it very, very effectively, other than the one bit of info that pops up about glory kills, because that is a genuinely new thing that no game's really done before. Everything else is done fairly subtly. It's done in a way that is natural to the gameplay. You're encouraged to do it through the level design and the way characters move and the way the mechanics work, rather than because something pops up on the screen and tells you that's how you're supposed to play. For a game that is so unsubtle in its presentation, in terms of giant monsters and blood and gore and explosions and guns and all that kind of stuff, there's nothing subtle about the setting, but in terms of the mechanics and the way they're teaching you about what you're supposed to be doing, the game is actually remarkably clever and remarkably light-touched as well. And so we just had this massive action sequence. Again, that's something that you might not even get to in most games until you're about an hour in. Remember that the remarkable thing here is that we're only really just now getting to 5 minutes in, and we've already been introduced to the main mechanics. We've been allowed to actually do them. The game has immediately taken us off the leash and let us play. It's had very minimal cutscenes and minimal story aspects, but what those have successfully done already is set the tone. It's established what this character should be feeling. Sure, we don't know much about him in terms of backstory or motivation, that kind of thing. That doesn't matter though. What this game is about is attitude, and everything from the animation to what you do to this title sequence and the way the music kicks in and the way everything is timed. And in this next moment, there we go. It's such an intricately designed and choreographed and cleverly constructed little bit of design, in that it introduces you to the game in under 5 minutes. You know everything you need to know about whether you're going to like this game, what it's about, what you have to do, and you're in. And that is the new, well, I say new, relatively new Doom game. New to me because I underestimated it at first, and actually there's a lot more going on here. I highly recommend you go and check out NoClip's documentary series. They cover all sorts of ground, including going really deep into how they designed this opening sequence with the designers. So don't miss that, it's superb. Okay, thank you for watching, bye bye.